this before, just first picking the Ashe, and I'm very happy with them doing it because it shores up a lot of their weaknesses with coordinating engages with their front line.
+1 Fong is such a great mechanical AD carry. You know that Ashe, it's all about positioning. It's all about using your no-mobility champion. And we'll talk more about that because DMO want to respond with an AD carry of their own. That Kai'Sa we talked about with priority rising.
It's just the expected pick now, right? We see these 4 AD carries. Ezreal, Aphelios, Ashe, and Kai'Sa. Kalista and Varus really always banned here in the LPL. What I want to see is where DMO goes now because we still have priority junglers open. We have 2 junglers banned. You would expect Trundle to rise on that tier list with so much attention put towards the jungle.
I mean, should be coming up next because you get the bottom side locked in here. Mitsuki on the Thresh. Also denies Sword Art, which you've talked about quite a lot, being one of the better Threshes in the league, especially historically, through the LMS as well.
It does good to take away it, not only from Sword Art, but right, denying the Lantern from someone like an Ashe who does lack a lot of mobility as well. Also would make a very nice pick composition, so going to make Suning have to dig a little bit deeper.
If you're talking about pick comps, remember that Angel also plays Zoe. If we get towards that track of getting a mid laner in this B2, B3.
I would actually kind of expect to see Sword Art just go towards the Bard. He's played it 6 times. It seems like Sword Art loves just going with Ashe, Bard, these types of long-range pick champions.
I guess this will do a similar result, right? Nautilus still very strong.
Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised by it for the fact that we haven't seen Sword Art gravitate towards the split. Of course, it does find in the laning phase up against the Thresh. You're a lot tankier, so you just pull him in. You have that aftershock. You look for the all-in, but...
Only once. This will be his 2nd game on it.
Yeah, so going to go a different style. Still going to have a lot of engage options and pick potential going into the mid-game. And right now we're seeing a lot of Twyla-style champions, but... This has been the terror that all teams have been banning out from DMO all split. It's been banned every game against DMO up until this game. Xiaopeng pretty much just spams this champion non-stop in solo queue.
Yeah. It's what we saw last year quite a lot here from him as well when it was Xiao Wei. Or Twyla actually was known as Twyla back then as well. So good to see him back on some comfort. As you said, hasn't been enabled this split. He has a very wide champion pool. He adds this one back into the mix.
Now I would expect to see DMO go and ban towards the top lane. They like to ban out the Renekton, knowing that Chalitza's not quite a strong laner and wanting to put him in matchups where he's very comfortable.
On DMO's last series, I believe. Did we see the Kennen yet? No, we haven't. Chalitza was a big Kennen player in 2019 on
Kennen and Jax are his 2 pocket picks, which with DMO banning the Kassadin, that can signal that they're going to go towards a 4th pick mid and just counter pick for Chalitza. And when you look at Twyla's champion pool, it does make sense, right? You have Cillian, you have Aurelion Sol, you have a lot of things that don't exactly have hard lane counters and don't really want to interact in the laning phase at all.
Such a good Zillion too. Remember our top play from 2019 was, no, 2020 spring. It was Twyla Zillion with the triple kill run at me bomb style. So
both of these players have heavily prioritized the Syndra recently as well. It's both of their most played this split, so DMO can just look to go towards something like that. But that does open a pick like LeBlanc up for Angel, and we saw the highlight pregame. It's something he looks amazing on.
Something that's normally first banned, right? You know, whether it's blue or red side, it has a high priority. It slipped all the way through the cracks. 15 seconds to see this mid pick you were expecting.
I would still honestly rather see a top lane option, even if they just pick a Renekton here, because counter picking top in this meta I don't think feels too strong, right? We set up this matchup's all about mid jungle and how that's going to really impact the bot lanes of these 2 teams. So I do like the way that DMO went with this. Just obviously paying respect to Angel with that Kassadin advance.
Does Ben strike you as a player who, in this composition, would go for something like the Quinn counter pick that we've seen a lot in the LPL, or at least commonly?
I wouldn't say so. You're already setting up for a lot of engage, right? If you're going towards the Quinn, I'd say you'd want your core to have disengage, so you can play safely around that Quinn and your 3 or 4 man doesn't get caught out in the mid lane.
I guess Aatrox is a solution here for Ben to take up in that top side. Now you get your answer as to Angel picking up that LeBlanc.
I still think you just go towards the Syndra.
Okay.
It's super strong.
That's
you don't
true,
have any
actually,
terrible lane matchups. You don't expect Twyla to pick something like the Echo, and you're setting up for this really strong mid-game oriented pick in skirmish composition.
It's kind of funny because that's another pick that I'd expect to get taken out in the first rotation, right? This has been such high priority. Second to Varus. Welcome back.
It doesn't make... It's actually very surprising. Even DMO, right, could have picked this one up on 4. Either team could have picked it up any time in the draft. We see it first picked quite a lot. Now for Twyla... Twyla is not a LeBlanc player. This is not something you associate with him, but he has been spamming practicing it on his Korean solo queue accounts. So really interesting to see DMO try to open up new avenues, and their composition right now is all centered on the early game.
Okay, so take me through it, because Twyla as a carry player, I don't see. In 2019, he lost most of his laning phase. He was a weak mid laner. He's ramping up here on the LeBlanc, and how does it fit into what DMO have drafted?
Still, LeBlanc and Rek'Sai, very strong mid-jungle 2v2. They have a ton of kill pressure. Rek'Sai can come get that flash knock-up. Very easy for Twyla to go in with the chains and pretty much guarantee either a summoner, or they should just be able to get a kill onto Angel. You have that same kill pressure in the top side as well. So for DMO, it's all about early action, early ganks on the top side of the map.
And for Suning, you look towards what we were talking about with draft. Well, Syndra, Ashe, piled together. I see pick potential built up here for Suning's game 1.
Exactly. I want to really see them start roaming around the map once they hit that level 6 mark and using that enchanted crystal arrow to find picks in the mid lane, around a dragon, something like this. So for Suning, it's going to be a lot about moving around as a 4 or 5 man core once we hit that level 6 mark and finding picks. For DMO, it's all about getting these ganks off around levels 3, 4, 5 and start snowballing an advantage.
I like that we talk about getting the ball rolling here. For DMO, that's what they need. They haven't picked up a single game win in the 4 weeks of LPL summer. They are not looking like the V5 of spring, but they are holding it with game score in the same situation. Suning, a team that started off strong but have dropped a little bit. Feels good to get a win against Rogue Warriors in 2-0 fashion, but they themselves need to keep the ball rolling as we head into game 1. The LPL has never felt so alive as we're heading towards the middle of the split. And Suning and DMO are going to show us exactly why, with compositions that you haven't seen in the likes of the LEC, the LCS, or should I say, picks piled together that make it into this game 1.
The thing that's really exciting is that both compositions have an early mid-game focus, right? DMO, we already talked about wanting to find action in the early laning phase. Suning, gonna wait more for that level 6 or 1 item mark before they really start creating action.
Well, you find a pick here if you're Mitsuki onto SOFM. He has flash available with the help of Bin. Maybe this turns into a turnaround, but you don't really have Scatter the Weak, so just trading blows back and forth.
Just each team poking their head in a little bit.
Electrocute for electrocute. No phase rush on the Syndra this time, Lyric.
No, we've actually seen this in the Syndra versus LeBlanc matchup before. Ooh, we're actually probably going to see a bit more shenanigans.
Yeah, early invade. 4 members piling on in. Twyla's going to get the vision. But with the blast cone over to the blue wall. And 3 seconds until the buff spawns, but DMO are coming on in.
And Rek'Sai is not really a strong champion at level 1.
Is Mitsuki, because he's going to get locked down. Flashes over the wall. Soon he get a free flash. And DMO are just getting forced out of their own jungle. Smite is available. The steal, excuse me, not going to be enabled. Xiaopeng hits level 2. Now this blue buff could be dangerous.
Yep, so Suning are probably just going to have to disengage here now that Xiaopeng has access to 2 of his abilities.
Does he care, though? Because Smite is down.
You're right. They can actually just keep
Oh,
going.
Flash of Weight hits the blue buff instead. Smite secured. Now SOFM will have the frozen domain as well as Chop. Mitsuki burnt his flash before. Xiaopeng burns his own. And Twyla and Angel were just hitting each other. But DMO, they're going to lose out.
I guess you're right, Hysterics. Doesn't matter that he's level 2 if he doesn't actually have the Smite to chain that along with it. Mitsuki had already burnt his own summoner, so he'd be quite an easy target as well. And DMO's composition not really strong at level 1. Great to see Suning punishing that.
You have an Ignite Flash Syndra who didn't have to burn her flash in the engage. You were talking heavily about the solo lanes and mid 2 versus 2. That's First Blood going down. That's a Rek'Sai without flash. How does it influence it?
I actually think it's going to be pretty massive if Angel can play on, his strong side of the lane, assuming that Xiaopeng's on the other side. Probably won't have to burn any sort of summoner spell to get away from Xiaopeng since he doesn't have that flash knockup to threaten.
Also the threat of maybe 1v2ing if you get a good Scatter the Weak as well. Twyla at half health after these trades. And you can see now that Xiaopeng has come back onto the map, goes towards the top side, while for SOFM, out towards his blue, which has just been dropped with a ward. SOFM trying to influence the mid-jungle matchup as well, but Twyla getting pushed out. He flashes away. I don't know if the bird baited him or not.
And it's beautiful to see because we were starting to talk about this earlier, but Electrocute against LeBlanc is a lot more typical, especially in solo queue, where you don't have the reliability of something like a Comet because of how much mobility LeBlanc has.
Yep.
She also is a bit telegraphed with her distortion, and it is really a big confidence play. So I'm glad we're seeing Angel have the confidence when he was the player we highlighted needs to be stepping up for Suni.
If you're Twyla, though, you're happy you took teleport into this matchup, but Angel still has both his summoners available. Angel gets to walk casually to lane, picks up a Dark Seal, and with the Biscuits in hand and Corrupting Potion, laning's feeling pretty good here for Suni.
And he's not going to miss out on anything. What's interesting to me, though, if we look at the minimap, SOFM is actually hovering towards the top side. Looks like Bin's trying to bait out an all-in from Chalitza.
He's coming into lane. Pillar is available. Chalitza might have to burn a flash here. Slowed on down. When does he burn it? Needs to do it soon. It's against the wall. The flash responded. The burn ticking. And it's flash. 4 flash in the end from SOFM and Chalitza.
I'm not quite sure why SOFM didn't feel confident enough to just get another auto attack down and finish off that kill. Still, you're gonna force out a TP from Chalitza, which could be pretty massive.
Means he misses 3 minions there, including the cannon.
Yep, so at least on what he misses, it's not too bad, but
yep.
Now Suning will be able to put some pressure down on bot lane if they want to have Bin hold his TP and always have that threat of a TP advantage.
So with such a rough early game, I mean, Suning have control of both the solo lanes in Bin and Angel. What do you do if you're DMO? How do you attack this if you're Xiaopeng?
Honestly, with the fact that that is their early game win condition, you still just need to keep looking, especially once Xiaopeng's flash comes back up. We're really going to need to see him create something around mid or top, but right now it looks like Chalitza's going to be able to push in that top wave, get the bounce back, and then you should have a pretty good angle to get a gank onto the Aatrox.
And at the very least, with the pressure from that wave topside, Xiaopeng's able to invade here. The push comes through from Twyla in the mid wave as well to try and reset that one, and Xiaopeng getting a bit more experience under his belt, while SOFM is towards the bottom side and just farming himself.
Yeah, so for SOFM, I want to see Suning look towards the Dragon. Bin has a TP advantage. They have a threat of a 5v4. You already talked about how they have a very strong mid-jungle right now with the fact that Twyla still doesn't have those summoners. And for Xiaopeng, just keep looking for that gank in the top lane.
He's here now. His flash is not available, but has the chilling spike. Bin too far forward, burns his own. The Prey Seeker for some damage, and DMO want to dive this, but Chalitza takes 2 turret shots. Xiaopeng's in by himself for the Unburrow. Bin kites his way back, and Xiaopeng wishes he had flash right now. The chase is so damn long.
Watching that was so depressing. Not even watching Chalitza's mistake. Watching Xiaopeng probably just, oh, please just let me land this knockup. We need something.
He's just hoping he gets the movement speed. Imagine if he got boots.
Xiaopeng, I feel for you, bro.
And he's back. Chalitza is going to get dunked under turret into Dominus the tank. Oh, he only just survived somehow.
I mean, it ends up being worth for DMO. I don't think it was calculated at all. Bin almost outplayed. He still has the TP, so he's actually not going to miss out on any gold or experience, and Suning making that dragon play like we wanted.
I mean, but at least if you're DMO, finally you get something. You get it onto the jungler who fell so far behind, while Suning are hitting bottom side pretty damn hard right now.
Just using the priority they got from mid from those early exchanges to threaten a dive onto Shubin. And the thing we need to keep our eyes on now is Huanfeng is going to hit that level 6 point soon, and they could either keep trying to threaten a gank or dive in bot lane, or if they're going to go for either a reset or just use lane prio to move towards mid and try and find an arrow on the
You wanted to see the grouping of 3 to 4 members once you've hit that 6, once you have that lockdown and that instant kill threat from the ultimate.
Exactly. I think Suning has a very strong 4v4 or 5v5 once we hit that level 6 point. Let's see what happens here. So Chalitza already tanking.
Oh, was it Triumph?
It looked like it was, but we didn't actually see like the heal come through.
Because the turret looked like it just did no damage.
Yeah, exactly. So
okay.
I would assume it's a Triumph.
But that's good. I mean, a game that felt like it was lost from the invade for DMO and that early pushback. Now we've got to Renekton with the CS lead. We've got the second blood, onto Xiaopeng, who's catching up in CS himself.
And the thing is, we do have a bit of scaling on DMO's side.
Would you like to pause? Because how close is Huanfeng to 6? He's a minion away. Turret plating's going to go down. SOFM pushes Shubin and Mitsuki back. But you can see Angel's here waiting at the outskirts of the brush.
And that early advantage in the mid lane is just paying off so much. Angel's complete free reign over the matchup, and it will never get better from here. LeBlanc really needs to take advantage in the early laning phase, and whether it's finding advantage in your own lane from the mid-jungle 2v2 or moving and finding picks, get ahead of the Syndra because she will outscale you and get to that point where you do just hit a full combo and blow her up.
And even if we just look at the other lane right now, we look towards bottom, you can see Huanfeng, he picked up the kill. in the early game. He has the Berserker Greaves, plus the advantage of the 2 extra plates and the CS lead.
Something we didn't even mention was Suning taking away DMO's blue buff, so Angel going to have constant pressure in this mid lane matchup. And now Huanfeng is hitting level 6, so it is time for that bot lane play against DMO.
And SOFM here for a 3rd time. Shubin and Mitsuki want him to go away. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow was used into the wall. A nice Killer Instinct to try and survive, and it will trade back onto Sword Art. So Mitsuki gets the kill, but it is a 1-for-1.
Overall, that's actually fine for DMO in the sense that Suning allocated resources, but at the same time, Huanfeng's getting all of these turret plates. Shubin's missing out on so many minions and EXP. Doesn't really feel like it mattered that you got that 1-for-1.
But with the Rift Roll, maybe that changes it, right? Because the solo lanes now have a bit more attention. Xiaopeng is definitely in this game. So versus bot, the purple Shelly on the top side will be taken down.
And I like that you highlight the Rift Herald, because if DMO can try and open up these side lanes...
Unless Bin steals it, Smite's going to be there. Xiaopeng walks back into steal, but Angel, the Fed Syndra, forces the flash once again. The Unleashed Power almost kills him. Xiaopeng will get away with the Herald alive.
Makes sense that Suning didn't want to commit, because as we see now, Huanfeng did just sit in bot side, getting more minions, getting more gold, turret, and plates, and...
Big Ash.
Yeah, exactly. Going to be really massive. He should be able to hit that Blade of the Rune King pretty soon. He actually got 4 plates, so...
Yeah. Okay, Cutlass, double dagger, so we're getting closer.
30 CS advantage as well. So we see a big CS advantage in both mid and AD carry. And this is going to start being the time where Suning is really strong and can pretty much force any dragon play they want. And the cool thing is they have constant playmaking ability from the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. So whoever Huanfeng is where we should expect to see SOFM and Angel lean towards.
So I know what you're talking about with the compositions, where if I just look at Suning, if I'm DMO, I don't want to walk in anywhere that doesn't have vision, right? This seems to be so easy for Suning to get the setup. In 40 seconds, baby, we got another dragon coming up.
Yeah, Dragon's going to be really interesting. We still are at a point where DMO can try to contest, but just from the item advantage we might be seeing in the bot lane by then, I assume Huanfeng will have his Blaze of the Rune King completed. I feel like we're in a very good place for Suning. And the thing about DMO's comp is they need to be able to get onto Suning at the same time. We need to see Chalitza, Xiaopeng, and Twyla all coordinate that burst and really just delete a member of Suning.
Where does Shubin come in, though? Because the Kai'Sa, as we know, has good scaling herself, but with the way this bottom lane's gone, Huanfeng is so far ahead.
And the thing I like about you highlighting scaling is the fact that, sure, with this Kai'Sa, it's going to become a late-game monster, but you also have a Rek'Sai who isn't going to provide much in the late game, or Nekton as well, and you're pretty much just going to be providing, I'd say, chaos and a distraction for Shubin to try to do his work, but you have a very solid front line on the side of Suning with Trundle.
And a flash burn. The depth charge. Chalitza is going to regret that because he's just dead here. Nicely done from Suning to find the pick. They ignore the dragon and get more gold on this 80 carry.
Yeah, so Suning going back towards that kind of old concept we talked a lot about in spring of saying, hey, second dragon getting a standalone mountain doesn't mean much if we can keep accelerating gold and experience on our main carries.
Because you got a Cloud Soul coming up. And those Cloud Dragons, name it 3, are going to be pretty massive. Suning, no, they're trading their bottom side turret, but Huanfeng is getting solo plates. This is going out of hand as Herald's going to be dropped on down to race.
We do see Suning leaning towards bot, though. Sword Art and SOFM are already on their way, but doesn't matter. DMO's still going to be able to actually pick up that turret. And the good thing about DMO's comp is they will have some pressure in side lanes if Twyla can pull Angel there.
But that relies on Twyla being able to stay safe in this mid lane, right?
He actually needs to be able to duel with Angel, which he is 25 CS down, but assuming they're at comparable item break points, Twyla's going to be fine sitting in that side lane, has all the mobility to get away, and Angel's going to feel constant pressure.
If Angel doesn't keep getting kills as well, is another good note, because Chalitza has overextended up in this top side, and after picking up a bit of plates, he's going to go on the run. Well, that Enchanted Crystal Arrow, is it up? In a second, but Chalitza's going to die here anyway. But can he get the trade onto Huanfeng? Nope. Sword Art says my kill.
And this is just really sad to see from Chalitza. Not only just from him, but we didn't get too much early attention from Xiaopeng. We saw him try to get off that one gank, but I guess ultimately it was Chalitza's mistake in that first dive attempt that kind of stopped that from being able to happen.
Hasn't been the greatest game one for Chalitza. We can leave it there, I think, is a safe place to put it. As this is continuing. So much turret plating in this game one.
Yeah, right now we're just over a 1K gold lead for the side of Suning.
DMO trying to make the play themselves, but a good hawk shot to spot this out. Xiaopeng pairing up with the laners.
This is one of the reasons why I love Ashe in competitive play, because that hawk shot, like the vision it gives you is just so valuable in pretty much all situations. You can stop the enemy from finding picks, which DMO's comp does heavily rely on getting picks themselves, right? You have this LeBlanc, you have the Rek'Sai.
Yeah.
And now Suning have the ability to dedicate enough men to topside and say, hey, we feel confident in being able to fight you. Once again, Bin has TP advantage, Chalitza no TP, so always the threat of a numbers advantage for the side of Suning.
And it does feel like the dynamic changes. We're going to have a quick look at gold at the bottom of your screen, because that's 1K just to one Fong. The lead over Shubin's going to be pretty large, even though he got 500 himself. That top turret goes down. The dynamic feels like it changes here, with now more room on the map after that turret.
Which, it doesn't change too much for the side of Suning, because you don't actually have anyone who wants to play out in a long lane in the side lane. The thing that it does open for Suning is, you know, their next goal is clearly going to be mid-turret, so they're probably going to want to get something like the Rift Herald to assure that.
Well, for DMO right now, playing around the gaps in vision, but they were spotted out.
They do have Hawkshot available for Huanfeng if he does get on the map, though, so they can try to either find a pick or dissuade whatever cheese DMO is trying to do.
Huanfeng gets involved eventually as well. This guy's got a Zeal, while Bin is the target. It's Mitsuki with a hook, using the tremor sensors to get the target, but Bin just pretty safe at his turret here for now. As he engages there, chilling smite, and that was it. Look at mid, open.
DMO are just reaching for anything at this point.
Well said. Because what do you do with this 3 people mid with Sword Art between vision as well? It's a pretty hard bargain. Grouping up, as you mentioned, for Suning. DMO just have to watch as this turret gets pushed in after the next wave. And next Dragon's up in 50 seconds.
We use the word snowball for the side of DMO's composition, so the longer the game goes with Suning having the gold lead, right, you feel great on the side of Suning. They do want to keep looking for those side lane plays. It doesn't really matter which one you help, whether it's Chalitza or Twyla, because both of them need the snowball. I'd probably prefer you to snowball Twyla at this point, since he does have the maneuverability to put some threat on the back line.
And he has survived the rest of this lane, right?
Exactly. But the thing about making those side lane plays is we want to see Chalitza or Twyla like on their side of the lane, right? We want to see Chalitza near his tower so Xiaopeng can actually look for this kind of play. Not exactly in a position to dive the tier 2 from Suning.
Because a good time to remember that what Xiaopeng does in late game is in goes Twyla. He was on a ward, and he's absolutely countered. Almost dies on the way out as the turret goes down, and Mitsuki is going to be slowed down as well. Bin for the follow-up, the damage to follow it. Angel has the ultimate, the dredge line, and there goes Mitsuki yet again. As a scatter of the week, and DMO are just walking into trouble.
I mean, Hysterics, we mentioned how for DMO, Twyla, Xiaopeng, and Chalitza need to be able to jump in at the same time to burst someone down to cause some chaos. If LeBlanc is just jumping in by herself into a Nautilus and an Aatrox, I don't think that sounds like a good time. I don't think you're going to burst anyone down, and they have a lot of CC to keep you there to burst you down yourself.
And it's kind of interesting because Suning have had priority at mid for a while now, and of course the Raptors are going to be warded. Feeling pretty safe with the control ward in the brush nearby, and Twyla almost dies to his death. There's Dragon's going to go down, Turret's going to follow as well, and the mid going before it. This is a big turn of events with Suning that ball rolling ever so fast, and all DMO can do is trade. Well, it looks pretty good here for Suning in game 1.
And Suning right now hold all the cards. They still do have the Rift Herald, but here's what we talked about. Twyla jumps into Sword Art and Bin, and of course, Huanfeng and Angel are there as well, but the important thing to note is that they did have that ward. And then Mitsuki just kind of looking for a hook to try and dissuade Suning. It does absolutely nothing to dissuade them. Great hook coming out from Sword Art, and then Suning just have so much mid-game damage themselves.
You're getting towards the second item point here for Angel, plus the second already picked up for the Big Ash. And yep, it's Huanfeng time. 9.6 CS a minute this game. 1,400 gold over Shubin. More importantly, 2 levels over the Kai'Sa.
And I even like the way Angel's gone with this build, not needing the extra poke and damage you get from the loot and saying, hey, we're so far ahead, let's just opt into the GLP, get more utility and pick potential in the side lane.
Look at where DMO are versus where the Herald is.
And DMO don't want to be looking for these picks under DMO, under Suning's tier 2 turret. But again, at this point, their comp doesn't have too many options, right? The game's accelerating to a point where Suning are not only ahead in, like, the gold might only be 3 or 4K ahead, but it's all on their critical carries,
I mean, it's been 1-2K for the whole game, and it always feels like Suning is so far ahead as they walk into the base. Mitsuki gets caught away, has to flash away. Twyla pulls back as well, back to the distortion. And Herald is going to help with the inhibitor. Base broken, Suning so damn far in this game as Xiaopeng is coming for the re-engage. The killer instinct from Shubin. Lyric's hands are in the air a little bit here. We'll find out if that's true as Twyla is level 12 and trying to get something here for DMO, but that's it. That's the fight.
And now Suning will just be able to back off and start playing for that next dragon, but we've already highlighted the great thing about this composition is it always has options to make a play with that long-range engage, so it's going to be interesting to see how they choose to attack the map now. And also we need to kind of praise Bin because we've said that DMO wants to look for this pick when Bin's pushing the lane back himself, but Bin not giving any opportunities, not being greedy, knowing that this is where DMO are playing around. After
that early game of being dove a couple of times and eventually dying, you know, Bin has been reserved and caught back up in CS. There was a 30 CS discrepancy up in that top lane at one point. Now it's pretty much dead even, and it kind of shows you Suning's reserve, and I guess the reason that they started off the split so strong is this team is forming together. It's just about how they develop from here.
And we do see pings coming out on mid lane, so Suning just wanting to keep the push going, and DMO have wave clear with the Kai'Sa, but maybe just feeling confident that if anyone on DMO walks up to the turret, throw down Enchanted Crystal Arrow, chain scatter the weak, use the Syndra ultimate, and anyone's pretty much just dead.
The beauty as well is we just saw a Knight's Vow going on top of Huanfeng as that turret goes down. Huanfeng also heading towards the Death Dance. It is 10.12, so we haven't seen the nerfs come through just yet. But this AD carry has had such a good game one.
I just love how Suning have kind of reframed their team, and you can see they understand their strengths and weaknesses, and they also understand that Huanfeng is the big carry, wants to be the big carry, and can handle that responsibility if they funnel resources into him.
I think this has also been a great example that Suning understand the draft, right? Where a lot of teams would pull out something of the hat like this and maybe not play it as well as we've seen. As Mitsuki's heading for hooks in this bottom side. Twyla off to the flank, but warded once again. The pillar placement, beautiful. The flash burn. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands. And now it's back to the turret as Chalisa gets half health, and another wave's coming in shortly. Suning is sticking around.
And Suning trying to find something, just kind of forcing DMO in front of them. They weren't on the same page with that arrow, you can see, because the rest of the members from Suning were backing off when Huanfeng threw it out. Sure. Maybe they could have found a pick, but Twyla did still have the distortion. But still, all the pressure they put up is going to guarantee this tier 2 turret.
Kind of funny at this point. You can do that and not really care because they're so far ahead.
I just want to say, I love Ashe meta. Because Ashe meta is a constant proactive meta where you can always make a play around the map.
That's true. And Ashe and Syndra is a pretty disgusting duo too.
It is. I mean, wait, right? You can hit one or the other. Either Enchanted Crystal Arrow or Scatter the Weak. Doesn't matter the order, but it guarantees the other one hitting. And then all the burst you have coming out from a Syndra and Aatrox.
And then the slow from the hose as well. Sorry, just to add a bit of CC injury.
And now Suning should be able to guarantee another dragon. And we've already touched on how Cloud Drake feels good for both sides, but especially just being able to have this Enchanted Crystal Arrow and pretty much every ultimate on the side of Suning come up off cooldown.
This is how DMO come back in the game though, right? If they could sneak this away.
If they can sneak it away, sure. They have some options back in this game.
Baron's going to be spotted out. And away they go. Because I was going to ask you, positively, because I'm a positive guy now, how DMO would come back into this game, but I'm going to pause on that.
When you are behind, especially, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 gold behind and things start looking hopeless, it's all about the sneaky or cheesy plays you can find. Whether it's, you know, 5-man stacking a brush, rushing a Baron, committing 3 people to a side lane where there's only 1 man. It's all about these types of plays where there is potential for you to lose the game more, of course, but at the same time, right, it's the only way you could get back into a game you're so far behind.
We're just looking at the bottom left-hand side of your screen. It was a hawk shot that spotted out the Baron. You said it's just another part of Ashe meta, as you mentioned earlier, just the valuable resource of the hawk shot that costs no mana.
I'm just saying, 2017 Spring was the best meta ever, where it was Ashe, Jhin, Varus every game. It was like Syra, Malzahar, Karma, Misfortune. Yeah. It was fun. It was awesome.
Wasn't that when we also snuck into Kog'Maw meta? Isn't that when Ardent came out?
I think it came out
summer.
Ardent meta was either right before that or came in right after. I can't remember which order. But
2017 Worlds, we had Ardent, right? Did we? Or was it nerfed by then?
That's a good question.
Feels like years ago, doesn't it? Probably because it was.
Yeah,
about 3 years ago. Can you believe that? Like,
no, you know a disgusting, not fun meta, but I'm going to talk about it as if it was fun.
What?
Where we got that patch change right before Worlds, where we got Mordekaiser when he could take the dragon. We had Darius every game. I just remember Stake just like giving up lane, walking across the map while he was on Flash Wolves, and like losing 50 CS, but constantly ganking bot lane.
That was a bad time to. Was that season 3?
No, it's 2015. Season 5 Worlds.
That was that was not a great time. Feels like ages ago as Sword Art is going to get the knock up. It'll make 2 fly into the air. SOFM places a pillar. Shubin in the box, but that's not where he wants to be. They need to get out of that. Scatter the week. May have sealed the deal here for game 1. Mitsuki tanking, flashes over the wall. That's great, but Bin is soloing out Twyla.
And good job from Suning to push their aggressive options.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised they weren't able to find a pick with how much CC they have. Disappointed to see Twyla get solo killed by Bin. Great job from Bin, but everyone who's followed LPL knows LeBlanc is not really a Twyla champion.
Nope.
You wouldn't expect to see him perform. It's great that he's practicing this in solo queue and wanting to try it out on stage, but this isn't really the style we'd expect to see DMO pull off a win.
Because while it hasn't really died bar for that solo kill, it hasn't been as proactive as we've seen. As here goes Bin once again. He doesn't have the World Ender available. Used it before, but he does delay the inevitable, which was the Baron. And taken away, DMO pick for that.
Ultimately, Suning getting exactly what they need, so going to feel confident to look for their resets, put some new vision up, and start sieging down the mid and bot lane turrets.
Yeah, this happens. There's only a level difference, but
oh, he just lands absolutely everything.
Everything against the LeBlanc.
Huh? No distortion, no ult to mimic.
All right. Well, should Twyla get LeBlanc? Well, the chat will tell us.
I do want to point out he's also been playing some other interesting things in solo queue. He's been playing a lot of Pantheon and Jace, which, once again, not
Twyla champions.
Twyla. But hey, I'm up for seeing Twyla at Pantheon.
Sure. But if we just talk about caliber of mid laners, I think everyone will agree that Angel, not just because of this game, is overall a better mid laner.
I'd agree, but for Twyla, right, you want to see him on a team where he has carries in the jungle and in the side lanes. He's more of a supportive type player. With how they go now, it feels like you have, I'd say, 5 role players on the team for DMO. And it really feels like Xiao Peng is the one who's expected to step up and be a carry threat. We've seen him put on good performances with things like Nidalee and Graves. Rek'Sai, not exactly the champion that's going to be able to do that. It's a lot more about getting your laners ahead.
I kind of miss that 2019 Spring Xiao Peng when he was on Silent Dragon. He was that Nidalee pocket pick, and he was the carry jungler then. Xiao Peng was actually one of the most unique junglers.
He played it once this split, and he almost carried the team. That's why everyone has started banning Nidalee once again against DMO.
And you'll see it in game 2, because this time on the Rek'Sai, falling far behind, only finding a bit to the top side. He's fallen way, way behind the rest of Suning. His second inhibitor is going to be broken here. Top side has respawned. Suning can head towards that with the Baron buff. They could even look for the Cloud Soul. At this point, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. DMO need a miracle.
Yeah, and Suning just going to be able to, if they want to play slowly with the pressure they just got from, super minions that will spawn in mid, can just look to take another inhibitor, back off, take that dragon like you say, but DMO probably going to have to look for a Hail Mary right now.
As Mitsuki lands the hook, the box down in the middle of the team, DMO are forcing the engagement. Suning is so far ahead. You need to kill one Fong, because this Ashe will delete. As Suning, yep, a triple kill goes over to Juan Fong. Angel takes out the trash and the back end. And that's what it felt like. DMO outclassed here by Suning in game 1.
And I love seeing Suning on these early mid-game pick compositions. They looked absolutely beautiful.
Lyric, that's an easy clap. Because Suning, rising back to the top, the wins continue.
Yeah, Suning keeping up the momentum. And again, last week they faced Rogue Warriors, who also had no wins. DMO also sitting with not even a game win, so